Good afternoon. I am Pia Marie Ladores, aka Pia Joy Love. You are listening to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM, where all Filipinos are Filipino enough.
Ok, bonjour, salut tous, c'est moi Fanny Christo, bienvenue et vous écoutez à Radio Kapwa sur 90.3 FM CKUT. Aujourd'hui, I'm joined by our lovely hosts, our amazing hosts, Desiree Ruiz and Vero Bertiz. Behind the boards, we have Laura. And today I am pleasured to have one of the most artistic and creative people I know with us behind the microphone. And that is Pia Joy Love. She's an amazing artist, creative illustrator, multidisciplinary artist, actually. So yeah, Pia, you know what? Why don't you give us a little background on yourself, how you started? And I personally actually wanted to ask what the Joy Love, how you came up with the Joy Love means. So please integrate that into your answer. So yeah.
Sure. Hello. First off, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Pia. I go by Pia Joy Love on Instagram. The name has changed so many times. So it's funny. I started off as Chicken Joy Love before because I like Jollibee Chicken Joy. And then it got transitioned to Pia Joy Love. I'm like, I need to incorporate my name there somewhere. Like Chicken Joy Love sounds like I'm a foodie. And I think I had received a comment like that before. And I was like, you're right. Like people are probably expecting like chicken and like food stuff. But then I was like, no, I need to incorporate my name back. So I changed it to Pia Joy Love. And it resonates with me because like at heart, I'm such a joyful person and I love love. And I think it just sounds, yeah, it has a good ring to it. And it's still kind of like it still kind of encapsulates the Filipino, I guess, because it was derived from the chicken joy. I don't know if people still get that, but yeah, it felt right. And it had changed so often, but this name feels right. I think the name changes depending on how I feel and like the season that I'm at. And lately it's been about like me and like my healing journey, my journey as a creative. So the cogs kind of just aligned and yeah, I don't know more about me. I was born and raised here in Montreal. I am the youngest, the bunso of three siblings. My parents were immigrated here in like 1940 something. And yeah, I have always been creative as a child. Like I loved drawing, I loved singing, I loved dancing. But as time went on, there's obviously that pressure to like pursue something that, will financially make you stable and keep you secure. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I want to like pursue something in the arts. And out of all my siblings, I kind of pushed that boundary a bit. And it was really hard to get that kind of like support from my parents who obviously wanted the best for me, but I didn't feel like they really understood the arts because, as immigrants, they only knew how to survive and they just wanted the same for me. They didn't have time for their passions. So I did pursue something within the arts, but not artistic. Like, so my occupation by day is that I'm a graphic designer. And I feel like that's like in between being artistic and corporate. Cause like there are projects that I can be super creative and there are projects that I like absolutely like it's just corporate and kind of boring. But there's an aspect of like that I could still incorporate my creativity within the practice. And so that's like my occupation by day. But at heart, like I'm definitely a painter, a singer, a dancer, like a performer, and it's something that I've been tapping into more recently. And it's just my journey has been so incredible ever since. And yeah, that was a really long intro, but yeah, that's what I felt like sharing.
I love it. Welcome so much, Pia. Hi, everyone. This is Desiree speaking. Pia, it's so amazing to have you here. We met just recently at Radio Kapwa's 2-year anniversary, where you are a speaker on the panel, but then you also generously drew my daughter and I, and you drew everybody that was there. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to thank you. It was like and you did it so fast and so well, and just these beautiful caricatures, right? These
Yeah.
beautiful drawings of us. And I just remember seeing like all of the drawings that you did of all of the Kapwa that were there. And it was just so beautiful, again, to see us represented through your eyes. So I just wanted
Mm.
to publicly say thank you for your generosity and your time for offering that to our community at our events. And I also just want to celebrate you for like how you were mentioning earlier, how your Instagram handle changes often based on the
Mhm.
season that you're in. And I think that's amazing. And I think that that is so beautiful that you shared that, because who, again, most of us think that we have to find something and stick to it forever, right?
Right.
So it's so refreshing to hear how you're like, no, this is how I feel today, and this is going to change my handle. So just celebrating you for honoring the different cycles and
Mm.
honoring your growth as well. Tell us more about this year. As before we went live, you're saying that this year has been really fun and joyful for you as an
Yeah.
artist. What has been going on for you this year specifically that has been really exciting?
Yes. So, for context, I went through a pretty dark season back in February. I had gone through some major life storms, you could call it. And I was in a really dark place. And it was, for me, it was kind of an incentive to seek things that are spiritual. So growing up in the faith, I did grow up as a Seventh-day Adventist. So my parents brought me to church every Saturday. We believe that like Sabbath is from Friday to Saturday sunset. And so growing up, it wasn't really like it was kind of not forced upon me, but yeah, you could say like it was just a routine. And I didn't really understand the significance until I hit those like really dark points in my life. And I was like, maybe I need God again. Maybe I need to like seek him for myself. And I did that. And it's been a whole journey. It's been a healing journey, a spiritual journey, an artistic journey, a beautiful journey at that, and a joyful one. And I can honestly look back and be thankful that those life storms happened, because it's what kind of propelled me to to be the person who I am now. Like we all come from places of pain and suffering, and it ultimately just makes us more whole and richer and wiser. And so I feel like that really pours into the all of my art practices, is like the faith aspect, the family aspect, because I have so much support from my family. Family is like number one for me. Well, God is, and then family. But yeah, the journey has been so amazing, and so I'm in the habit of saying yes to things now, like more like yes to opportunities. I guess before I was kind of shy and like uncertain. I wasn't sure where I was, and like I didn't understand like how to inform my own art. But I think those life storms really helped me like understand why I am meant to create. And so it is this whole spiritual awakening for me. I was asked to, it started off at the extravaganza events during the summertime, July 1st. And I had always been saying to myself, I really have to like put some merch out, like my art on t-shirts and tote bags and make stickers. And that was my incentive to like do just that. And so I was really grateful. I also designed the banner for that event too. So I was like super involved, and I was like, wow, like I've always wanted to do this. And here, like God blessed me with this opportunity to actually do it. And then after that, it was the Kagat Zine Fair at Concordia, and I've always wanted to make a zine. And God was like, "Okay, here you go. Here's an event that you can make the zine for." And I had compiled a bunch of short stories taken from the youth at my church on their seasons of growth. So the zine is entitled "Seasons of Progression," because so often we glamorize this whole like seasonal depression, but it was called seasonal progression, to kind of like enforce like there is growth after like hardship. And it was also reflective of my season of hardship and now growth. So I created a compilation of their stories along with illustrations that I had done. And then followed after that, I had been asked to be on the comic book panel with Harvey. And I'm like, wow, like I've always wanted to do this, and like I really ought to start like that graphic novel that I've been saying I need to start. So all of these all of these opportunities that have come my way from the community, which I'm so so thankful for, have been also I've seen as, or the way I look at it, as like blessings that God has given me to exercise these talents and actually he knows that I'm not self-disciplined enough to like actually do the work sometimes. Like, I don't know, I tend to procrastinate. But having to meet a deadline, having to do something for an event and a cause that I believe in, it propelled me, it motivated me. And I look back and I'm like, these are all milestones that I've achieved as an artist. And it all happened in such a short amount of time, especially after that like really dark season. And I'm really impressed by how like just the level of, I don't know, the healing. Like there's a whole healing aspect to also creating. And I've recently read The Artist's Way. I'm not sure if you guys know, by Julia Cameron. And it's about like achieving higher creativity and kind of recognizing that your creativity is actually a gift from God. Like he himself, I acknowledge God as like the creator. And so because he's the creator and I myself am a creation, given the gift of creativity, I now want to create for my creator. And it's so like it's like this cycle of love and like of reciprocity and like receiving what you've been given and giving what you've received, if that makes sense. And so it's something that I've been just putting into practice in all of my and all of the work that I do. And I've just been seeing like the evidence of God's love is so clear in my life. And it's something that I want to share with like through my art, like my testimony and my story. And eventually the graphic novel will happen. It's just I'm still processing the pain, the hurt. But it's just been a whole healing journey. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for everything that has happened so far. And soon I'll be performing at the Sari Sari market. Kuya Terry was like, "Hey, do you want to perform?" And I've always sung, but again, it was serving as an incentive for me to actually create the music to perform. And I've always told myself, like, I've always wanted to make music. And God's like, okay, well, here, you're gonna perform here. And like you have to write this down. So I've written an original and I'm feeling really excited and nervous. And then in November, I'll be in Calgary to also showcase like the music and the art. So like I'm just hitting milestone after milestone, blessing after blessing. And it's why I feel so profoundly like, how do I say it? I'm just filled with so much gratitude and like wanting to give back what I've been given because God has been so good. And the community has been so supportive. And like, how can I just like keep that all to myself? I can't. I have to, like, there's this aspect of wanting to share what I've been given. And I ultimately feel like that's what creativity is about. Like, art should be about sharing and getting people to feel what you feel. That was such a long response, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I feel what you're saying because you were saying that you've been blessed with so many opportunities this year. But also, I
Mm.
feel that from what I've been seeing, like you've also been like giving out opportunities to or like creating those experiences for others to also collaborate or just like be around that space. And what I'm specifically referring to is I know you've been doing those sip and scribble sessions, I think.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
So,
Yes.
I guess just, yeah, why don't you tell us a bit about those sip and scribble sessions,
Mm.
or like, just anything you'll be doing in the future like that.
Yes. So a sip and scribble is something that I had started back in March. The name actually, like my friend Renee, she's a super talented animator. She was helping me come up with it. And so basically I had been attending these drink and draws before my dark season. And after the dark season, I didn't want to associate with those people anymore. And I also was feeling a bit triggered being out in the evening. And usually that event would take place at a bar setting, like in the evening time. And so I wanted to create something of that nature, but like during the day and with people I feel safe with and people that I like love. And so I wanted to keep it it's like a femme thing. It's all my close homegirls. We all get together and we draw at different cafes and we just get creative. It's an outlet for them to just take their mind off work and just do something that doesn't revolve around work, you know? I think we all sometimes need to take a break and we all need an outlet to just, yeah, chill and be in the company of good people. And so it's a safe space for not only me, but these women as well. And I eventually want to open it up to, everybody. But in the meantime, on my healing journey, I've kept it pretty like close, like tightly knit. The last sip and scribble of the year is actually next Sunday. and I'm doing like a little pop-up cafe situation. So there's just so many things I want to do with Sip and Scribble and open it up more to the public, and it being more, yeah, just for people to hear about it. But it's been super low key. Once again, it's just a place for all of us to stay creative, and it's a place where like I myself take a break from the creation aspect, because so often like a lot of our work sometimes, like because I'm also creative, like that's also how I make my money too. Sometimes I don't get the opportunity to really just like create just for the sake of creating and just have fun. So it's an outlet for me as well. And yeah.
What a beautiful. I mean, this is probably one of the second or the third time that I don't have much things to say. If you hear other recordings, I kind of hoard the space a lot. I just dominate it. That's just me. I accepted that. Everyone calls me in, not call me out, call me in and gently tell me like, Veronica, you're taking too much time. Let other people talk. I have accepted that. But when you were talking, normally I would take notes and I was taking notes,
Mhm.
to do follow up. But then you would be speaking and then you answered all of my questions. So I'm like,
Wow.
what do I do? What do I ask? And so I just wanted to once again say I wrote it down in our chat, but like in caps lock. Beautiful.
Mm, mm.
Beautiful.
Aw.
Thank you for sharing your experiences with us, being vulnerable of your experiences. I like that you said it's seasonal progression, right?
Yeah.
It feels very dark when you're like, oh, seasonal depression. Um, they're becoming like a vampire and then they're very moody and those kind of things. And so I like that more because for me, I also feel a bit, I get the sad. My partner is like, you should go out more and do more physical activity because you will get it. And we just had DST, right? So that will really screw over people's
Oh yeah.
timeline for the next 1 week to adjust. And
Yeah.
so definitely I like the fact that you use your art as a form of outlet, and the sip and scribble is it reminds me of kaaktehan, to be honest, to just
Mm.
like monthly meet up with everyone
Yes.
who see themselves as artists and
Mhm.
use any type of means of art to let it out, because when
Mhm.
you keep it in, you need, as you said, everyone has their own creative part, right? Like we're all
Mm.
creatives. And so what you're saying about God being a creator, and then now we're also up to us to be a creative person, I truly truly believe that. And so
Mm.
Kaatehan is a way for us to talk about whatever we're feeling inside and use other means that we have. So that is very beautiful. But before I ask you my questions, I put something in here that I wanted to also talk about. I feel like Sant Kapwa was part of your opportunities for this week.
Mm.
So I just wanted to again celebrate you for all of
Mm.
this milestone. And Sant Kapwa is very honored to be part of this journey with you. In a way, a journey of healing as well. So it's great to hear your perspective, and it's great that you're thriving, and it's great that when you're creating, you're also healing. So this is one thing that in our community, sulat-sulat, mga drawing, anong mapapala, like what can you do with that? And
Mm.
when
Mhm.
you say that your family, your community supportive of your art, it's very refreshing to hear that, especially on air like this. So again,
Mhm.
thank you. You were born and raised in here, and from what you're telling us, that you're pretty much still very much anchored in our community. So we have two
Absolutely.
questions that we normally ask our interviewees, and one of the question is, in what ways you were told you weren't Filipino enough?
Wow. Um, I don't think I was ever told I'm not Filipino enough, but there definitely was a feeling of like, am I? Do I belong here? So, man, okay, I was with Laura a few weeks ago. We were talking about like what we've encountered as Filipinos, and I'll talk about just having to come to terms with the fact that I am Filipino, because being born and raised in Montreal, like tend to get a little whitewashed. I mean, especially if you're going through like the whole French educational like system, like you kind of lose part of that identity, and especially if your parents are not kind of like, yeah, like my parents at least didn't really teach me the language or shared the culture that much. I've only witnessed the culture in church settings, which was still very rich because I do attend a Filipino church. So all the members are Filipino. No, we have like it's multicultural, but like yeah, the majority of members at the church are Filipino. But I didn't feel really connected to my own culture until it was like around university after like the whole Black Lives movement and then kind of everyone this whole like awakening of people being like, wait, where am I from again? Like, wait, we should kind of like go back and like do our little own deep dive. And so, yeah, I realized like in doing that, I'm like, wow, there's so much that I don't know. And I felt a bit guilty about it. I did. But now I look back and I'm like, you know what? I didn't know at the time. And now I'm informing myself. And I think that journey is something that we're all kind of on right now is just like informing informing ourselves on the things that we didn't know and now we know and like we take a lot of pride in it. But the community aspect is something that is so integral to the culture that I've witnessed early on. I guess, yeah, the anecdote I wanted to share was I had, we've all internalized our own, I guess, like beauty standards or, yeah, I guess growing up, I felt insecure about like my complexion. That's something that like I think that a lot of Filipinas who are a bit more darker in complexion have maybe faced, because the Eurocentric ideal beauty standards. It's like you gotta be if you're pale, mestiza, But I was morena, and so I did. I was like, like I wish I was paler. Like, and I had also I grew up with a friend who was super pale, and I really envied her skin, and I guess like no one really told me like no like that your skin tone is beautiful and this and that until actually it was my brother's girlfriend at the time. I was telling her about like how I was like, yeah, I don't really like to being in the sun that much. I don't want to get too dark. And she's like, but why? And I'm like, yeah, because I don't know, like I don't want to like the joke dark joy. Like I think I forget who is the comedian that made that joke, but that was always running in our family. Like we'd always call each other dark joy. And I thought it was kind of, yeah, like I didn't think my skin tone was that beautiful until she was like, wait, no, but you look healthy, you look beautiful. Like it took a white person to tell me that I should embrace it. And it's funny because like they want what we have and we want what they have, but we're all beautiful in our own unique way and our own complexion. And so that was a journey that I had to kind of like reconcile or like something I had to reconcile with is like, no, I take a lot of pride in the fact that I'm this complexion and then over time, like I did start to feel like I had been embracing my cultural identity more and also just having conversations with my parents about their past and their history. And I'm so close to my lolos and lolas. Like I love them and even hearing the language, like it's something I wish I had learned, but it's something that I could still pick up to this day. Like I want to learn how to speak Tagalog, but my parents, they speak Ilocano. And so, yeah, I think I'm on this journey of feeling more Filipino, but I've always been Filipino and I've always been enough. And it's definitely a narrative that like I had to have with myself before. But now, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I kind of went on a tangent again.
No, that's perfect. I mean,
Okay.
this is the question that we always ask our interviewees, and first thing that always comes in their mind is that I should learn Tagalog, and I'm the first person to always tell people that. But you just said your parents are from Ilocos, like they speak Ilocano, and so
Yeah.
there is a Tagalog supremacy in the Philippines, but
Mm.
don't forget that your parents' background of speaking Ilocano is equally, actually, I would say more important for you to feel more
Mm.
validated and affirm of who you are, right? Doesn't mean you're not Filipino enough. It just means you also honor your parents, and learning
Mm.
Ilocano, I think, is a very good way. I've been making an intentional way of relearning back the language, and
Mhm.
that journey is very refreshing because you would find out words that did not exist, that we didn't
Yeah.
need to borrow words from Spanish words, and then that felt very
Right.
validating for us, right? So
Mm.
that's I'm really glad that you started to reclaim that I am beautiful enough and I am Filipino
Mhm.
enough. I would also tell people that there's 120 million Filipinos in the Philippines alone, and the diaspora is even millions more, tens of millions more. And so if there's 120 Filipinos in the islands alone, there's 120 million ways of being Filipino.
Absolutely.
So we're all Filipino enough. And if some
Amazing.
people are feeling that they are not, I would say look in the mirror or open your camera, put it on the front camera and say, you're Filipino enough because I said so. So that's a very good affirmation. And thanks for sharing that. And you didn't go off tangent. This is very valid experiences. And I hope that people who's listening to us right now would feel reaffirmed of your experiences. And last question for us is you said that you didn't have the opportunity yet to learn the language, but we asked the same questions for everyone. This is the last question. What does kapwa mean to you? Or if you don't know the word, what does going to our kapwa event made you feel as well?
What does kapwa mean to me, or the feeling that I got when okay, just a safe
Big question,
space.
huh?
Yeah, I guess it is a big question. It is a safe space. It is community. It is family. It's, I need a second to think about it.
Take your time.
Yeah, to me, it just represents a safe space, like a nest. Yeah, I'm just, for some reason, like a nest pops up in my head because it is also a place of like where I've birthed many new experiences, new relationships with people, amazing connections. It's a birthplace for me. Like it feels like that, and I just, for some reason, I'm just picturing a nest. So that's the first thing that's coming to mind. Yeah, it feels safe, but like also, it's providing me wings to fly and on my own. But it's also just like this place of refuge and like safety and security and support. And yeah, I'm really grateful for Kapwa.
I love it. Thank you so much. I have a last question really quickly, Pia, because I want you to take up space. Please share with our community what's next for Pia. What are your big dreams? You had mentioned on this interview, you were like, I wanted to sing, I wanted to this. So what are some big dreams? If you're willing to share with us what's next, or and what do you hope to do in the coming year?
Singing. There is so I'm attending in Calgary. There's an event called Likahan, which means to create, and that I will be showcasing my artwork there and performing there as well. Another upcoming project. I'm still in the process of writing the graphic novel before I actually do the illustrations. So that's in the works. But ultimately, like my biggest dream is just to have influence in this world, to be kind of to cause a ripple effect in this generation of Filipinos, of non-Filipinos, just everyone, young people, old people, and to have an impact in this world, a positive impact in this world, because I really do feel like there's a lot of hurt and pain, and I really want people to experience joy and healing, and I really want to use my talents to even just be a little scratch on the surface for that to happen. That's one of my biggest dreams, and I really hope that God can use me in that way. But yeah, that's all I have so far.
Well, there you have it, folks. You've heard it from Pia Joy, love. Like I think, and I hope that y'all heard the love, the joy, in the way that she expressed herself. I hope that for those who's listening, you feel also the conviction of just doing good, and all of the gratitude that was received is now being given to those who are privileged enough to consume different mediums of art that Pia is now just producing. We hear you very excited, Pia, and we're very, very excited as well for this journey of yours. Once again, we're very proud and honored that we are also a part of this journey of yours. We will be announced in our community announcement if you're curious up to what are the dates, where can you find Pia. It will be on our community announcement, so stay tuned. This is Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Mabuhay everyone, and see you next week from 2 to 3 p.m. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
araw-araw na nakangiti. Ilang beses na rin tayong humihindi. Di na mapilang ang ating mga tampuhan. Away ba't di natin di na namamalayan? Eto tayo, ngunit sa huli palagi babalik pa rin sa yakap mo. Hanggang sa huli palagi pipiliin kong maging sa'yo. Ulit-ulitin man, nais kong malaman mong iyo ako palagi.
Kung balikan man ang hirap, luhat lahat, ikaw ang paborito kong desisyon na. Pag napaligiran ang ingay at ng gulo, di ko pagpapalit ngiti mo sa mundo. Oh, eto tayo
Sa huli palagi babalik pa rin sa yakap mo. Hanggang sa huli palagi pipiliin kong maging sa'yo. Ulit-ulitin man, nais kong malaman mo, iyo ako. Sa pagdating ng ating pilak at ginto,
diamante may abutin, ikaw pa rin
aking bituin, nagtatangi kong dalangin kung sa huling sigaw.
sa huli palagi babalik pa rin sa yakap mo.
Mahal sa huli palagi pipiliin kong maging sa'yo. Ulit-ulitin man, nais kong malaman mo, iyo ako palagi. Humawak ka sa'kin, sundan aking himig. Huwag nang magtago, di naman magbabago. Di kailangang sabihin, walang dapat gawin. O aking bituin, ikaw ang hiling. Huwag mong pigilan, hayaan mong kusa. Humawak ka sa'kin, sundin ang damdamin. O sumama ka sa'kin, at tayo ay sasayaw sa kulog at ulan. Iikutin ang tala at buwan, habang tayo ay naliligaw. Pakinggan ng puso, huwag nang bibitaw. Huwag nang magtago-taguan, kita naman sa liwanag ng buwan. Ang lihim na pagtingin, kailan aaminin? sigurado Nakaw mong tingin sa'yo lang hihimbing Ikaw at ako ang nasa likod ng mga ulap Huwag mong pigilan, hayaan mong kusa Humawak ka sa'kin, sundin ang damdamin O sumama ka sa'kin At tayo ay sasayaw sa kulog at ulan Iikutin ang tala at buwan Habang tayo ay naliligaw Pakinggan ng puso, huwag nang bibitaw Huwag na magtago-taguan Kita naman sa liwanag ng buwan Ang lihim na pagtingin Kailan aaminin Huwag mong pigilan, hayaan mong kusa Humawak ka sa'kin, sundin ang damdamin O sumama ka sa'kin At tayo Pakinggan ng puso, huwag nang bibitaw Kita naman sa liwanag ng buwan Kailan aaminin Kailan aaminin
Hello, everyone. You're tuned in to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Thank you to our hosts, Ate Des and Vero, as well as Fenny, our audio tech, for hosting this awesome interview with Pia Joylove. If you're in Calgary this weekend, you should totally swing by the Likaan event, where artists such as Pia Joylove, Ka Collective's Alan Matudio, Squat Show's host and multidisciplinary artist Nikki Anchovy, as well as members of Indios Bravos such as Harvey Nichols, Moe Blanco, and Mark Cortez will be displaying and selling some of their art. It's going to be an awesome event highlighting Filipino artists. So yeah, again, go pull up if you're in the area. You won't regret it. If you're just tuning in, you've missed out. But you can always catch a rerun of this episode and every other episode on YouTube or on the CKUT website. I'm Laura, you know it, continuing to fill in for our lovely John Marvin Reyes as he becomes an unstoppable academic weapon, bringing you news today from back home in the Philippines. This first article is from Rappler titled Foreign Brokers Profit from Deploying Filipino Farmers to Korea as LGUs Let Them. Written by Michelle Abad. Part 1 of 2. Even after reports of exorbitant processing fees and exploitative working conditions experienced by its deployed workers, a consulting agency not accredited by the DMW continues to recruit workers in Laguna. There's no question that South Korean culture has captured the imagination of the ordinary Filipino. Regardless of age and socioeconomic status, Filipinos have become fascinated with Korea and one way or another have come across K-pop or likely have watched at least one K-drama. Analysts and academics call this soft power. South Korea has used cultural policies as part of an economic strategy and has grown its attractiveness to people, including migrant workers, across the globe. Among them was Marco. His name was changed for privacy reasons, and he is from Paete, Laguna, who in early 2023 came across a social media post from the Paete Local Government Unit, LGU, about an opportunity to work as a farmer in Korea. Expenses before departure reached up to 60,000 pesos scraped from the family's savings. These included visa expenses, travel insurance, and a medical checkup. This was separate from the 70,000 pesos in total processing fees Melanie, his wife, had to wire to a Philippine bank account designated by a team of Korean brokers in the Philippines after Marco was already deployed. Behind this fascination for Korean culture are ever-prevalent reports of modern slavery among migrant workers. South Korea has turned to migrant labor to grow its economy. In 2017, the country began its Seasonal Worker Program, SWP, where foreign migrants work in the country's agricultural sector over several months to address labor shortages during the country's busy farming and fishing seasons. In Yeonggu, a chili county near the border with South Korea, Marco planted chili peppers and watermelon, among other crops. It was physically exhausting, and even if his contract stipulated that he would work 8 hours a day, he often worked longer, usually up to 11 hours. He was not consistently paid for overtime work. He later had an accident that led to the protrusion of his collarbone. With no hospitals around to give him the medical attention he needed, his supervisors decided to take him to the hospital the next day. Marco had no choice but to endure the night, sitting upright with excruciating pain from an untreated broken bone. As Marco recovered, the supervisor told him to modify the story of the accident. In the modified story, Marco exited a vehicle, slipped, and broke his shoulder. I complained to the LGU. I told them what had really happened, but they didn't believe me, his wife. They only believed what the broker said Melanie, Marco's wife. According to her, they never received any assistance from the LGU following the incident. Many workers, some with worse circumstances, find it difficult to speak up. Civil Society Organization Center for Migrant Advocacy, CMA, which has monitored SWP abuses in various provinces, provided Rappler information about other workers' cases, such as one who was deprived of drinking water before work was completed. He observed one of his fellow workers' toenails turned black because he was forced to wear tight work shoes. Physical and verbal abuse, as well as what workers perceived to be arbitrary termination, were also common. They similarly paid thousands of pesos in processing fees. Filipino workers began to be deployed under the SWP in 2022. Back then, its implementation was done purely through local government sister agreements, where Philippine LGU coordinates with an LGU in Korea when sending its people to work in their town. Because national authorities in charge of the welfare of overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, were not in the loop, the program was marred with irregularities and abuses, which local governments enabled with the help of Korean brokers. The Department of Migrant Workers, DMW, only stepped in to monitor deployment around 2023, after reports of abuse were exposed in Congress and in the media. The Philippine government has often highlighted how serious it is about curbing illegal recruitment of OFWs, from putting in strict guidelines from pre-departure to repatriating workers and suing illegal recruiters. But the question remains whether all exploited workers, especially those whose cases are not highlighted in the media, achieve justice. Names have been changed at the workers' requests for privacy. Quotes have been translated to English for brevity. This article was published on November 3rd, 2024 via Rappler. If you would like to access the entirety of this article, you will find the link within this episode's description, both on YouTube and on the CKUT website. You may also search for it directly on the Rappler official website, rappler.com. That's all for me. For news from the Philippines, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next week. Stick around for some more music and community announcements at the end of this episode with Fenny Cristo. Mabuhay! Mwah!
I say I'd like to know the words in your mouth right before you say them. your back? Was it like to be the pink to your black? A hint on your door, a date on your door. Cause I like to be the pin on your map. From late night until sunrise, you're on my mind, and I just wanna be close, closer than the buttons on your clothes. Can I be the melody you know? Stay on replay in your head. What am I supposed to do to get close to you? I just wanna be close, closer than the buttons on your clothes. Can I be the melody you know? Stay on replay in your head. What am I supposed to do to get close to you?
You got me shaking from the caffeine. Oh, oh, vanilla sweetness like I'm 16. Oh, oh, I'm out for you like affogato. I know it's burning hot, but I could pour myself a dozen cups. Yeah, my coffee. Yeah, how to make my heart skip all the beats. I'm not normally awake at 5 a.m., but you're clearly busy stirring up my whole routine with an anomaly inside a fever dream. Got my system craving for you like it's dopamine. I keep on pacing back and forth. Haven't felt this way before. Palpitating, got no cure. I think I'm addicted 'cause you got me shaking from the caffeine. Oh, oh, vanilla sweetness like I'm 16. Oh, oh, I'm out for you like affogato. I know it's burning hot, but I could pour myself a dozen cups. Yeah, my coffee. Yeah, how to make my heart skip all the beats. Blinders on all that I see. Mr. 5'11", want you close to me. Sweep me on my feet, I'm buzzing from head to toe. I know you wanna grab a cup of C-O-double-F-double-E. Then a double take it, start a bow and arrow at sea. I guess we're on a double date with Cupid and Destiny. Woke up and I'm drunk on a double shot of you and me. Keep on pacing back and forth. Heaven feels this way for sure. Palpitating, ain't no cure. Baby, I can't help it 'cause you got me shaking from the caffeine. Oh, oh, vanilla sweetness like I'm 16. Oh, oh, I'm out for you like affogato. I know it's burning hot, but I could pour myself a dozen cups. Yeah, my coffee. Yeah, how to make my heart skip all the beats. Yeah, how to make my heart skip all the beats.
Bonjour, bienvenue. C'est moi, Fanny Christo, et j'espère que vous allez bien. Nous sommes le mercredi 13 novembre et vous écoutez à Radio Kapwa sur 90.3 FM CKUT. On a retourné de la pause musicale et maintenant, c'est le temps pour les annonces de la communauté. Donc, trouvez quelque chose pour l'écriture et des papiers ou ouvrez votre application de calendrier et on y va. Our first event is actually just about to start in a few minutes. So yeah, today, Wednesday, November 13, starting at 3 p.m. all the way to 6 p.m. at Desta, which is at 1950 Rue Saint-Anton West. Do not miss this free 2-part workshop series on pitch development for producers and broadcasters with Tracy Pilote, hosted by Destabin. For those interested in the world of broadcasting, producing, and want to turn their project idea into a viable pitch.
For more info, you can visit their Instagram page at Destabin. And then the next event is actually happening right after the previous one. So yeah, today, Wednesday, November 13, but starting at 6 p.m. all the way to 8 p.m. at Le Galion. Le Galion is very excited to welcome Mandy Gray and Carol Ann Souffrant for a special bilingual event. Starting from the recent publication of Suing for Silence, which is a book by Mandy Gray, these two authors will talk about sexual violence, rape culture, and the use of defamation law as a way to silence victims. This event is made possible with the support of Simone de Beauvoir's Institute. For more info, you can visit their Instagram page at Librairie Huguillon. And then this next event is actually happening right now, Wednesday, November 13. It started a few minutes ago at 2:30 p.m., but do not worry, you will not miss it if you still want to go, because it ends at 7:30 p.m. and it is happening at La Seine, which is at 7755 St. Laurent, Suite 300. Organized by the Villeray Park Extension Cultural Consultation Table, this cultural assembly aims to bring together neighborhood citizens to discuss and reflect collectively on themes related to arts and culture. The theme of this event is, can arts and culture really be points of connection between Villeray and Park Extension? For more info, you can visit their Instagram page at Brique X Brique. And then the next day, Thursday, November 14, the show Slajians Volume 4 will be back at Cabaret Mado and will be the last show of the year. Do not miss 18 Asian artists, drag queens, live singers, professional dancers, pole dancers, Vogue artists, and guest artists. For more info, you can visit their Instagram page at Cabaret Mado and Manny Z Universe. And that's it for the Thursday. But for Friday, November 15, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Center for Studying and Learning, which is at the Concordia downtown campus, do not miss. The COHDS co-director will be guiding participants through the phases of facilitation in an indigenous process. She works with the medicine wheel and invites in ritual, dignity-centered practice, cultural safety, and storytelling. It's perfect for anyone interested in facilitation, leadership, and working with indigenous communities. So yeah, for more info, you can visit their Instagram at COHDS News. Saturday, November 18, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. This is an online event via Zoom. Justice Climatique, MTL, and Research for the Frontlines will be hosting an interactive workshop online into the recently released Decolonizing Climate Action Toolkit for ENGOs in so-called Canada. All folks working on climate action are welcome to join them for this workshop. To register and get the Zoom link, you can visit their Instagram page at Justice Climatique, MTL, and Research for the Frontlines. And then finally, Sunday, November 19, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Ami Quebec will be giving a free online workshop about loss as an inevitable and painful part of life. In the relationship between a family and their loved ones with mental illness, experiencing loss can be complicated. For more info, you can visit their Instagram page at Ami Quebec. Okay, and that's all, folks, at least pour cette semaine. Si vous nous écoutez pour la première fois, les annonces de la communauté signifient la fin de notre programme. Mais écoutez à Radio Kapwa encore à la prochaine mercredi de 14 à 15 heures, même station 90.3 FM CKUT. Je m'appelle Fanny Christo et j'espère que vous passez un bon semaine.
Magandang hapon, nakikinig kayo sa Radyo Kapwa, CKUT 90.3 FM, where all Filipinos are Filipino and us. Liberation for one is liberation for us all. Tuloy ang laban.